folks, this is Shera and welcome to the video. We're here again at my nice new little house. Alright. I haven't actually played in a little bit, so it's nice to get back to this. What to do today? Ooh, kindergarten. This is actually a relatively long job, so that'll be good. Greetings. After a few years of working as a teacher in a primary school, I collected enough money to buy a building, which I want to change into a lovely kindergarten. It was used as an office before, so there was a lot to change. There's a huge mess in there now. I guess the previous owners didn't like to clean much. Please get rid of all the old or broken furniture, fix the damaged devices, and equip the toilet appropriately. Rooms where children will spend their time should be as colorful as possible. They love it when everything around them shimmers with colors. Use at least 3 different colors in each room. And please, put loads of toys everywhere too. After all, kindergarten is mostly about fun. Also, don't forget about the locker room for the kids. Some hangers and shelves should be enough for them. I'm sure you can turn it into a place that will bring them wide smiles. Best wishes, Ariel Lone. This is actually a fun and cute little job, but it is a little bit on the longer side. You can interact with some items. You don't say. What this actually means is that you can sit down in some chairs and stuff like that. Alright. Well, I'm gonna do what I always do. And get rid of the big messes first. Before moving on to the whole decorating and all that jazz. I was actually playing a little bit of, whatchamacallit? Castle Flipper the other day, which was interesting, an interesting change. It's definitely not nearly as polished as this is. And it shows. But, you know, I'm hopeful. It's cute as is, so that's nice. I do enjoy these types of games. Okay. And they want 2 different colors. I'll just get the medium for now. And there you are. I'll come back to y'all once I'm done cleaning out the place. Right. But playing in a lot of other games means that my memories for controls are a little wonky. So sorry about that. Clean up all these rooms, get the new floor down if they need a new floor, and then repaint. Okay. Don't gotta change the floor, but do have to paint in here. Leaving that open to show that I've been in there and it's neat. I've started to get it ready. Bye! Okay, they don't want us to get rid of those. But the rest of this is fine, apparently. What do you think I am? A nerd. Oh shoot, I keep forgetting that I cannot / should not mess with these things. There's certain items they want us to keep, apparently. Okay. There we go. I'm gonna get these up off the floor, because I'm gonna have to, you know, put this place into some semblance of order shortly here. One of my neighbors growing up actually had a daycare in her room. In her house. It was in a weird, slightly detached area of her house. I think it had initially been built for, like, you know, a roommate or something, but yeah, it was upstairs. I didn't actually end up going there very often, I don't think, but my brother was friends with her son, so I was up there a few times before they moved out. That house actually turned out to be really eventful for us, that house alone, because my brother was friends with the son there. After those folks moved out, in moved a middle-aged man and his old father. My brother became close with them, but there was an incident. Okay, so I just before I tell you this story, I'm gonna say that though there was an injury, it wasn't nearly as bad as it's gonna sound. My brother was helping, because the man and his dad were using, a wood stove. And, obviously they were getting their own wood, they had to chop and split it and all that jazz. And they were using a wood splitter and hadn't trained my brother properly on how to use it. And, I guess wasn't paying enough attention to my brother to make sure he was staying safe. Long story short, there was an incident with the wood splitter, and my brother lost the top digit of his right ring finger. It was crushed, and then it had to be amputated. We were both pretty young teenagers at that point. I was absolutely ripshit. I wanted to sue them. Obviously my dad didn't do it, which, is good, because later on I found out that the father of that crew wasn't, well, they were poor like us, and oops, wrong button. And suing them wouldn't have gotten us anything. And also, you don't want to burn bridges, even if some bridges result in your brother losing a part of their finger. What sucked is, that was the same year we were learning how to type, because this was back in the day, which if any of y'all are young, you might not realize, schools didn't always use computers. In fact, it was kind of a big thing when computers started to become more used in schools. We had to have a typing class to learn how to type, because no one in the late 90s, early aughts really had computers on a regular basis. That might have been different in the cities, but not in the rural town I was from. Cell phones didn't even start working there until consistently. Until what, 2015-ish? Yeah, it's pretty rural and pretty old school. But yeah, the story I was meaning to get to with this is that my poor brother had begun learning how to type with his, full hand, and then he had to learn how to type again, missing a digit. So, poor bastard. He's adjusted to it now, and he can, use that finger to a certain degree. It doesn't stop him. He's a skilled chef and a good worker. He works at with cars and stuff and all that jazz. Yeah, definitely didn't stop him, but I was a salty creature for many years. I don't actually know what happened to those folks. We had to move away. We had to move into town because of someone bought the land we were on. We had been living there through permission from the owners, and they had to sell it, so I don't know what happened to them. I hope they're okay. We had a lot of interesting neighbors that I definitely should have been more careful around as a kid. Thank God nothing bad happened. But those were the days where we would get left you know, my dad would be working, my mom would go out for groceries, and if she couldn't bring us along for whatever reason, she would leave us there for a short time. That sort of thing would get you in wicked trouble nowadays, but that's just how it was. We'd go for a walk or play in the woods. Of course, nowadays we know better. And there's less woods for folks to play in, because humanity is ever encroaching on nature. Anyway, that was a weird tirade, I guess you could call it, to get onto. My apologies. I'm really bad at telling stories. I get distracted. No. There we go. They finally did a release date for the, well, release quarter for the luxury DLC for this game, and I'm looking forward to it. It looks like it'll be cute. God knows, I love new things. They've actually changed up this job, or maybe they randomize parts of it every time you do it, because I definitely don't remember there being glass shards here before. And of course, viewers might know that glass shards are there for me instead of cockroaches. Because, no, absolutely not. Okay, yep, I want it in here too, and I'm assuming out here. That reminds doing this to this room actually reminds me of something else from when I was younger, which I might have mentioned in a previous episode. The bathrooms of our high school were very dark, mostly because a good chunk of them were underground. So me and a couple other girls got it into our heads to get the school to get us paint, so we could paint them. And they actually ended up doing it. We had a couple of nice days, you know, chilling and during quote-unquote recess time and painting, and it got us out of like a few classes. I remember this one person perching on top of the bathroom stalls, like that plastic of the wall divider, and I was so terrified she was gonna fall and crack something open. But that didn't end up happening. So that's good. Oh, those are speakers, I think. Yeah, so we ended up painting, except the trouble was that the folks who gave us the paint were the local, you know, hardwood, or a local store who dealt in paint. And they just sort of gave us whatever other folks didn't want or had returned, maybe. So we ended up with not much choice in what we were given for paint. And there's a couple times where I was like, hey guys, we should really, especially in the basement, we should do dark colors for half the room. Because there was a divider, a horizontal divider. It was all brick. And we had to paint it. So half the wall would be dark and half would be light, because those were the options we had for colors. I always told them to, do the bottom dark and the top light so the room feels bigger. They didn't really listen to me very often, but hey, it's better than the chipped paint that was there prior to us doing that. Even if it was all really kind of ugly shades of pink and green and blue. But it was a good experience. I'm missing some, missing some dirt. Clean the window. Yep. Sometimes I forget that I'm playing a video game. Okay, this window too. Now, this video is going to be longer than usual. longer than the half-hour max I usually try to stick to, because this is a long job. We're going to be getting into that a bit as time goes on. So they want all three of these colors in here. Okay, so you're there for now. And am I missing a room? I guess not. I could have sworn there was another classroom. Oh well. Well, let's start with this corridor. I have to decide how I want to do this. I want both colors. And to be honest, the game does not care. I could literally paint this entire thing mostly this color and then like do one panel that's this lighter peach. It wouldn't bat an eye. It wouldn't change anything. But I'm gonna make some kind of attempt at making this look okay. This looks more orange to me than it does peach, but oh well. Alrighty, there we go. The rest of it the lighter color. I really like this color, actually. To me, personally, it looks more tan, but that could be either, you know, my eyes being weird, or my computer screen being a little bit different. The fact that none of us see the exact same colors is, disconcerting, I think is the word for me, personally. It's like we all have an agreement of what... I should backtrack on that. Most of us who are not colorblind have a general shared agreement of what certain colors look like, but no two of us, except for maybe twins, are going to see colors the same way. It's just, it's fascinating. I was talking with a buddy, or actually one of my roommates, earlier about, yesterday, about how most of the animal kingdom can't see orange. And that's why tigers can get away with, you know, being orange. And then, of course, because humans as a species are really good at recognizing patterns and such, and as a result, like, we're capable of seeing tigers when they're trying to hide themselves. Because, you know, it's a combination of colors and us being able to see patterns that we can pick them out. Anyway, I thought it was interesting and wish I knew more about color theory. I am not colorblind to my knowledge, but one of my buds is. And which doesn't stop them from being a good artist. Kudos, man. Kudos. Actually, I may... Not to talk aloud at y'all, but I am wondering if I should divide this into 20-minute videos, or if I should just have one big video. Because I don't want to leave it would be a cliffhanger for y'all if I did that. Not that I think any of y'all are super invested in this, but I'd hate to make somebody wait a week if they were. Okay, shoe cabinet. You can do these different colors, so I'm gonna. Man, don't even remember what our kindergarten looked like. Oh, never, a little bit. It was built in the basement of a former place where nuns lived, whatever the word for that is. Nunnery? Yeah, it was built in one of those. The one that I mentioned that had a fallout shelter in the bottom. Despite it being underground, they did their best to keep it, you know, bright for us kids. And they succeeded, so, you know, good on them. Of course, that building has been demolished and replaced by a much more up-to-speed building with elevators. Ooh boy. Actually, I mean, obviously folks need elevators. I was not saying that to be mean about folks who, you know, with, actually anybody should be able to use an elevator if they so desire, but you know what I mean. Mostly because it was I said it that way because it was such a big deal at the time that everybody was, it meant a lot. Small town, not much going on. It makes me a little sad because there was this, whatchamacallit. Excuse me? Oh dear. Come on, game. Don't crash on me. There we go, jeepers. My computer is old and unhappy. How many did I just put down? I need to put down several more. I could be thorough and, you know, good about this. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna. I don't have the energy or the attention span at the moment. Goodness, there's so many. And this is those are too high up for little hands, but I'm not gonna spend the time. I haven't the patience. You need a toilet. Oh, what I was going to say is, I am a little bummed that that old building is gone. I mean, granted, it was probably full of asbestos and a lot of real terrible things. And I'm pretty sure it was confirmed to us that it definitely did have lead in spots it shouldn't have. But it had so many murals painted on the walls, especially in the hallways by classes that were ahead of us, and I always thought that was kind of wonderful. I mean, some of them were bad, some of them were good, because some of them were done by little kids and others were done by adults, but either way, that was pretty nice. I made a fool of myself in my not preteen, just after teen years, I think, because they were going to make this big Disney, it was to be made out of felt. It was like a big banner that was going to go at the top of the entrance into the new building once it had been built. And your girl was painfully obsessed with Kingdom Hearts at that point. So I made Kairi out of felt instead of other Disney characters. It's really, really embarrassing to go back into my school now. Not that I go into the elementary school much, but yeah, extremely embarrassing. I actually did a painting of Kairi, like, at the Destiny Islands in a sunset that I gave, God, goodness, that must have been 2002? I gave that to my buddy for our shared birthday. We're 2 days apart, so a lot of times growing up we would celebrate a little bit together once we became friends. Anyway, I gave that to her for her, it was Christmas or her birthday, and she treasures it. She tells me she really likes it still. It's super embarrassing. Like anybody who has made old arts or crafts or whatnot, you'll always feel a certain amount of embarrassment over seeing old stuff because, you know, you're the one who made it, so you can tell how screwy it is and where you messed up and all that jazz. But other folks can't tell. It's like that joke, that meme, whatever, on Twitter and Tumblr, where it's like, person doesn't want to draw or write more of a certain thing because someone else has already done it better. Or like they're comparing their quote-unquote cake, in this case representing their art or their writing, they're comparing it to the person right next to them, and they see it as not great, but all the consumer is seeing is, yay, cake. More cake. Anyway, that's my long-winded way of saying, try not to get discouraged. Your biggest enemy is yourself when it comes to doing just about anything. Make sure to take care of yourselves, my dears. Even though COVID and stuff is, it's not winding down as a thing. It's not winding down in the slightest for most of the planet. Just really the U.S. and some of the richer European countries. Make sure to take care of yourselves during all of this, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I'm gonna be able to see my family for the first time in a couple weeks here. It will have been almost 2 years since I've seen them last. So that's good. I'm grateful, knock on wood, I'm grateful that they're still around, given all of the horrors that folks have experienced this past year. Anyway, subject change. You'll have noticed that I did start playing Kingdom Hearts. So I'm thrilled to be able to share that with y'all. I really super enjoy it. I had forgotten, despite being an older game, it really does stand out still, as from compared to other games from that era. It's a treat. Oh, never mind. I'll save that for my Kingdom Hearts video. I was about to say some recent stuff, but nope. Time to focus on the video I'm actually recording. You know, I think I may actually end up chopping this video in two, mostly because we're already at the 30-minute mark and I've still got a lot of this job to go through. But I'll finish all this completely first, if nothing else. Oh, like I said, you don't have to do these tiles any specific way. I'm just doing this because I like it, with the corners and stuff. These regular jobs don't require you to have any sorry, going back on that. They don't require you to have, like, say, 10 of the green and 10 of this white one. Regular jobs don't require that, but the jobs in Sunset Valley do. So you'll see me fighting with that when I do more of those in a video soon here. Okay, this room's done. Okay, I am actually gonna cut this here, and when I see y'all, we'll be ready to make this place gorgeous. Please make sure to take care of yourselves and each other, and until we talk again, have a good one. Bye-bye.